everyone, I'm Priyanka and today we will discuss gas chromatography. This is a part 2 on this topic. So here we will discuss the different type of the detectors used in the gas chromatography. First we have the thermal conductivity detectors. Now this TCD is based on the fact that the heat loss from a filament depend upon the thermal conductivity of the stream of surrounding gas as well as its specific heat. When only the carrier gas flow heat loss to metal block is constant. Filaments uh, remain constant. When an analyte species flow past the filament generally thermal conductivity changes. Thus resistance changes which is sensed by Wheatstone bridge arrangement. The imbalance between control and sample filament temperature is measured and a signal is recorded. Talking about the advantages of this type of detector, it is simple and inexpensive, durable and possess long life, accurate results, non-selective, hence known as universal detectors. Talking about the disadvantage, low sensitivity affected by fluctuation in temperature and flow rate. Next we have electron capture detectors. Mo- Molecules of compounds which possess affinity for electrons differ in their electron absorbing capacity. This difference is utilized in this detector for identification of compounds. Talking about the working, a foil made up of radioactive metal like nickel is placed inside a taphron coated cell which also contain a cathode and an anode. In the presence of organic species, the produced electron migrate towards positive electron and produce a certain constant standing current. When a sample elute is present, it captures the electron elutes from the column. There is a drop in this constant current. The potential across two electrodes is adjusted to collect all the ions and a steady saturated current. It therefore recorded. So this is the setup for the typical early electron capture detector. Talking about the advantages, highly sensitive, high, highly selective, highly sensitive for the detection of the compounds like halogens, uh, perox- peroxidase, nitrates, quinine. It is non-destructive, more sensitive than PCB and FID. Talking about the disadvantages, least sensitive to compounds whose molecules have negligible affinity for electrons. Carrier gas use should be of pure form like nitrogen. Next we have flame ionization detector. This employs hydrogen flame that is maintained in a small cylindrical jet made up of platinum or quartz. Different from the column with helium or nitrogen as the carrier gas are fed into the hydrogen flame, get ignited and undergo pyrolysis to produce ions. For detection of these ions, two electrodes are used that provide a potential difference. The ions produced are repelled by the positive electrode which hit the collector plate. The current produced in doing so is amplified and fed to an appropriate recorder. So this is the flame ionization detector. Next we have flame photometric detectors. It is a selective detector that is response to compounds containing sulfur or phosphorus. The detector principle is the formation of the excited sulfur and excited hydrogen phosphorus oxide species uh, are reducing uh, are a reducing flame. A photomultiplier tube measures the characteristic chemoluminescence emission from these pieces. The optical filters can be changed to allow the photomultiplier to view light of 394 nanometer from sulfur measurement or 526 nanometer for phosphorus. Talking about the applications for the detection of heavy metals like chromium, selenium, tin, etc. in organ organometallic compounds, also for the analysis of pesticides, coal, hydrogenated products, as well as air and water pollutant. Talking about the working, fill the syringe with the sample, record the setting, that is column temperature, detector temperature and injection port temperature. Introduce sample into the injector port by completely inserting the needle into the rubber sputum. Note down the injection time. The sample gets vaporized due to the high temperature of the injection port and is sweat into the column BE carrier gas. The sample components get into destruction between the gas and the stationary phase depending upon their solubilizing tendency. The components with the minimum solubility move faster and those with the maximum solubility travel slowly. The components leaving the column activate detector and record to give a plot. The component that slowly leaves the column give a bell-shaped curve of shorter peak, while the one which travel faster give a bluntly pointed curve of large peak. In the above graph, the component that first emerge out of the column is the component 4 followed by 2, 5, 3 and 1. The area under the curve is determined in order to obtain the percentage composition of the mixture. Talking about the evaluation, height equivalent to theoretical plate, that is HETP. It is the distance on the column in which the equilibrium is attained between the solute in the gas phase and the solute in liquid phase. Large number of theoretical plates divided by the smaller HETP, the more efficient the column is for separation. The HETP is equal to the length of the column divided by n, where n is the number of the theoretical plate. Talking about the retention time is defined as the absolute time taken by the sample to show maximum peak after injecting. Next we have retention volume. Retention volume is defined as the volume of the gas required to elute about half of the solute through the column. It can be calculated by using the formula VR is equal to TR into F, where F is the average volumetric flow rate in ml per minute, estimated by using soap bubble meter. Some gases dissolve in soap solution. That's all we have in gas chromatography. Thank you and have a nice day.